Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life, live fully.
It gives me great pleasure to have Brigitta Hoeferle on the show today. She's the Grandmaster and Master Speaker of the NLP Center, Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the show, Brigitta Hoeferle.
Thank you so much for having me, Omobola. It is my distinct pleasure.
Thank you for joining me on the show today, Brigitta. Now I'm excited about our conversations today. Now, in your own definition, what is the mindset shift and why do they matter? And also, how do they happen?
That's a loaded question at the very beginning. So a mindset shift starts with becoming aware that the mindset that one is in is not working. I'll give you a very easy example. Yesterday, one of my legacy clients texted me, and my clients have access to me 24/7 via text, texted me and said, I'd like for you to offer some tools around my mindset around grief and mourning. And I said, tell me more. And we hopped on an emergency call. Turns out that person has just experienced a loss in the family. And I said, there is really no tool, there is really no frame of change of grief. We go through grief in the 5 stages of grief. And it starts out with the awareness that we are grieving, that we are mourning. And in that strategy, it's the exact same thing in other areas of our life. When you go work out and you are becoming aware of the mind chatter that's going on in your head of, I really don't want to go work out. I really don't want to get up at 6:30 or whenever you're getting up to go to the gym or to go for a run or to go and pick up some weights and do a little bit of a workout. If you're working for a company and you do not like working for that company, if your mind chatter is, I really dislike my boss or my colleagues or whoever you're dealing with, or even your clients, even worse, then become aware of what's going on in your mindset. Because what most people are coming from is looking outward and trying to change what's happening outward. Trying to change, okay, I'm mourning, what can I change outward? But the acceptance and the awareness is, what can I change in my perception of how I'm taking in the information? May it be mourning, may it be working out, may it be business, may it be personal issues, may it be anything that's going on that you see a challenge. Because as humans, we like to go and point fingers outwards because that's so much easier than turning those fingers around and going, what is it that I can do and how can I shift just a little bit and look at it from a different point of view? If you've ever seen, and now I'm dating myself, but you might have seen the advertisement for the Energizer batteries with a little Energizer bunny that's just going around and around and around, right? And when the Energizer bunny hits the wall, it'll hit the wall over and over and over again. And as humans, we often do that. We focus on a problem or a challenge, and we hit the wall over and over and over again, and thinking, if I just continue to do that, eventually I'm going to get through the wall. I'm going to get through the challenge. I'm going to get the raise. I'm going to get rid of my annoying customer. I'm going to lose the weight, although I'm not going to go work out. I'm going to get over the grief in the morning, although I don't do the work that needs to be done, and going through the 5 stages of grief, wherever we're at. But if we take that little Energizer bunny, that's us, right? If we take ourselves and just shift like 1%, suddenly we're starting to see a different perspective. We're starting to experience something else, and we might be able to go around the wall, and maybe there's something much greater around the wall. So the mindset shift is so often talked about, and so little people really know, how do I take that mindset and shift it, right? It's easy said, it's not so easy done. So there's a beautiful success pattern, and that goes the following way. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, and those actions lead to the results. Now, if you do not like the results that you're getting, you go back to the thoughts that you're thinking. Let me give you an example. You wake up in the morning, your alarm goes off, you wake up in the morning, and it's raining outside, and your thoughts are, oh, it's raining outside, it's going to be a nasty day, it's not going to be a very productive day. So that's the thought. The feeling is, ew, I don't want to get up. I'm going to pull my covers over my head, and I'm just going to stay where I am. The actions out of that, or the lack of actions, are going to get you the results of that day. So fast forward to the end of that day where it started out with raining and your thoughts of it's going to be a yucky day, and you fast forward to the end of the day and you look back at the day, you're like, well, yeah, it was a yucky day. Why? Because you made it so. Your thoughts lead to your feelings. Your feelings were yuck, I don't want to get up. Your feelings lead to your actions or lack of actions, and those actions then result in your results. So the success pattern is often misused, very often misused. Now, if we go look at the same pattern again, it's a structure, it's a strategy. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results. We look at the thought, same scenario, same morning, alarm goes off, it's raining outside, you look outside and you say, it's raining outside. That's the thought, it's raining outside. Now you have the choice. Do you want to pull the covers over your head and feel like it's going to be a yucky day? Or is the feeling of, hey, it's raining outside. Guess what? I can stay in and I can get all of the tasks done that I wanted to get done today. And here's my list. So that can create a feeling of excitement. That gets you into actions of doing things. Okay, so let me write this email. Let me get on this podcast. Let me talk to this client. Let me do this with my kids. Let me talk to my coworker. Let me put this on social media. Whatever the task is, at the end of the day, you're going to get the results that you desired at the beginning of the day because you caught yourself in that thoughts to feeling transition. So thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions to results. It's such a simple strategy, and as humans, we got really, really good at misusing that strategy. So that is the overall formula for a mindset shift, Omobola.
Right, great. So I'd like us to talk about the NLP mindset. Right. Like to share your insight on this.
So the formula that I just shared with you is one of the many laws of success of NLP that I teach. And the more you are, before we started this podcast today, Omobola and I were talking of how we're juggling many things. If you're a woman and you have children, if you're a business owner or you work somewhere, if you're a wife, if you're a caretaker of your parents or whoever, family member, you're juggling all of these balls up in the air. And the more balls you have up in the air, the more you are called to quickly shift in the mindsets. And if you're not able to quickly shift in the mindset, you're not going to get all of the balls up in the air. You're not going to get all of the tasks done with your kids and your family members and the business and, the wife, husband, whoever you have. So it is becoming a master at juggling. Now, I don't personally juggle, but I juggle. I like to say sometimes I juggle chainsaws. And when you have fun, when you're able to tap into the thoughts that you're feeling and deciding, it is a conscious decision, and deciding that juggling is actually fun, that being of service to your family is actually fun, that dealing with the annoying customer is fun, that going into your place of work is fun, and it can be challenging, and you're still going to see the fun in it. So it is, first and foremost, the laws of success is the awareness. That is the number one key. The awareness of what's going on in your head. What are the thoughts that you're thinking? NLP, Omobola, you mentioned NLP before. And for the ones that don't know what NLP is, let me decipher it for you. NLP, 3 letters, stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Now, what does that mean? That's a mouthful. Neuro is your brain. It's your operating system of your life, of your personal life, of your business life. And quite frankly, any problem that you have on a personal level is going to show up in your business, and any problem that you have in your business is going to show up in your personal life. We're holistic beings, so you cannot just turn off a switch. One of my legacy clients is a OBGYN. He's a doctor, and he works at a hospital, and there are days where he loses a baby, or where he loses a mother during childbirth or during complications. And I ask him, I say, how do you deal with that? Can you just leave that at the hospital at the day when you're done with your shift? He goes, no one can do that. We are taught to do that, to kind of separate ourselves. But at the end of the day, I cannot do that. I cannot just leave that burden at the hospital. That is part of me, and I know I've done everything that I can. So it is your operating system. That's the neuro part, your brain. Okay. Linguistic is your communication, and while I'm pointing to my mouth, communication is so much more than just your words. Words are only, if we look at the Moravian communications model, words are only 7% of our communication. The biggest part of our communication is our body language, and that's why I love that we have this on Zoom here, right? So you can see my facial features, you can see my body language, you can see my hands, because there's so much information that's being transferred in the way that we talk. So body language is 55% of our communication per Albert Moravian, and 38% is tonality. So imagine when you're writing an email to, let's take this annoying customer again, that I'm pretty sure we've all had a run-in at some point. So you're writing an email to this person, and as you're writing it, you're only writing it out of your own mindset, out of your own perception of reality, with your own words. Once the customer reads your email, he or she is putting his or her own tonality into what you wrote, because they cannot hear you. They just hear what they're reading in their own head, and they're not seeing you. So a lot of communication is lost in emails. A lot of communication is lost in the written words. May it be copy on your website, may it be social media posts, may it be emails or text messages or such. So that's the communication part. The programming part of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is the programming of our behavior. My thoughts, my feelings, my actions have an impact on you. They have an impact on me, and they shape my own behavior, but they also have an impact on you. So as you're listening, as you're seeing, hearing, and feeling me as I am talking, you are starting to make up your mind of how incredible this information is, and that's going to show up in your behavior. If you ever heard anything about a motivational speaker, right? A motivational speaker cannot motivate you. A motivation is intrinsic. There's only one person that can motivate you, and that's yourself. But you can listen to other people that are in self-development, that are in business development, that are in personal development, that are consultants, that are coaches, that are mentors, and they can inspire you. They can give you ideas. They can, if it's a great mentor or consultant, they give you advice. If it's a coach will ask you great questions. So you can then go and experience that own mindset and experience those actions for yourself. So the behavior is being programmed by yourself and by the people that you surround yourself with. You've probably heard it before that you are the sum of the people that you surround yourself with. So be very mindful of who's programming you. TV programs are called programs for a reason, because they're programming you to do something. There's going to be advertisement that's going to program you to buy something, to create a hunger for something, or to create a thirst for something, or to create a desire to have something. That's what advertisement does. The great advertisement agencies are NLP masters. And when you have those lenses, then you can also be aware of what you don't want to be programmed with. Because we go through life often in trance, and we don't even realize of how much our surroundings, the radio, the TV, the people that we talk to, are programming us, and that has an impact, either positive or negative, on our own behavior. So that's NLP in a nutshell. There are incredible strategies in neuro-linguistic programming. One of the strategies is framing. When you go through an NLP course, the frames, which means that when you go through a mindset shift, you are looking at a frame of mind that you are in. All rainy days are always negative and dreary for me. That's a mindset. You decided at some point that all rainy days are not good for you, or are dreary and they're sad and they're depressive. You decided that at some point. When you become aware that you made that decision, you made that cognizant decision that that's what rainy days mean to you, then you can also choose to decide, actually, rainy days from here on forward, that language pattern is a pattern interrupt. From here on forward, rainy days are productive and fun. Rainy days are my dance in the living room kind of days. Or rainy days are my list days, where I can get things done because I'm not going to run around and get muddy shoes or whatever. So the mindset shift, again, I cannot stress this enough, Omobola. The mindset shift starts with the awareness of what's going on in your neurology. So you can then speak linguistic, you can speak to yourself. Is the mindset that I have around this topic, is that still true for me? Or is it no longer serving me? Because at some point, it might have served you that rainy days are sad and depressed. That's totally fine. From here on forward, it's not serving me, so I want to make it something different. So it's the communication with ourselves that programs the behavior. And when we have a better behavior, let's stick with the rainy days. When we have a better behavior towards rainy days, we're actually going to get the results that we desire, because we use the time of getting things done on our list on a rainy day. Does that make sense?
Sure, it does. Now, you talked about the NLP framing, right? You said earlier on. I would like you to buttress more on this point, the NLP framing techniques. So how can the person change, the reality from where they are to where they ought to be with these framing techniques?
So a frame is a frame of mind. So the first step, become aware of what the frame of mind is. What is the internal communication with yourself? Or I like to call it, what is the stinking thinking that you have? Maybe it doesn't stink, I don't know. But what is it that's going on in here? What's going on in your head? What are you telling yourself? Second step is, what is it that you want? What do you really desire? Do you desire wealth? Okay, great. What does wealth mean to you? Let's put wealth in a frame. Is wealth money? Is wealth time? Is wealth children? Is wealth family? Is wealth fill in the blanks? You can be wealthy on so many levels. Wealth is not just money. Money often, most of the time, is the byproduct of everything else that you're creating. So number 2 is know what you desire. Know in NLP we call it well-formed outcome. Know your well-formed outcome. Number 3, take intentional action, not just any action, right? Have you ever had like one of those little darts in your hand that you throw to a target? And when you have one of those darts, you know how pointy they are because you're throwing it to a target. People go around their life with these little darts in their hand and they just throw them just randomly somewhere, right? Let me just take action, so I'm taking action for the sake of taking action. But it's not intentional. So take intentional action. And you can only take intentional action if you A, know what's not working, if you B, know what you want, and if you C, know where am I aiming to? What is the red circle in the middle that I'm targeting that dart to? Take intentional action and give yourself time and do it consistently and be persistent in what you are doing. The first step is have behavioral flexibility. Now, what does that mean? One of the laws of NLP states that the person with the most flexibility controls the system. The person with the most flexibility controls the system. That's called the law of requisite variety. The person with the most flexibility controls the system. That means when you have behavioral flexibility, you can be a chameleon in any situation that you go into because you now have that awareness of, oh, I'm in this very specific mindset. This is not going to help me to get to my well-formed outcome. Therefore, it would be very beneficial and serving to me to shift my mindset a little bit, to take the Energizer Bunny and just move it 1 or 2% over so it can go in a different direction. So having that behavioral flexibility helps you to get into, to switch into a different mindset. And it's not from, 0 to 180. It's a tad bit shift. It doesn't have to be big. So have behavioral flexibility. And the next step is come from a place of always doing your best in your physiology, which means with your body, and in your psychology. So with what you have going on in your neurology. So always do the very best with the resources that you have available, physically and mentally. One of the laws of NLP states there are no unresourceful people. There are only unresourceful state of minds. There are no unresourceful people. There are only unresourceful state of minds. So surrounding yourself with other people, mentors, coaches, or a mentor or a coach or a mastermind that will provide a resource or resources for you to shift into a better mindset is beneficial. So those are the steps for you to go through to have the better frame of mind, and that first and foremost is a decision. So if you decide, I no longer want to be a victim, I want to be a victor or a Victoria, then you can start applying those steps that I have just went through.
Thank you once again, Brigitta, for your insights on the show. Now, you talk about mindset shift, right? But I would like you to talk more on the powerful shifts that can prepare a person's mindset for reinvention.
So, I don't know, what kind of shifts have you incurred, Omobola? Where were you at some point in your life where you said, this mindset is no longer serving me? What shift have you made?
Yes. That's a beautiful question. I think that the first step I had to take at that point in time was to focus on my thoughts. Right. I think that was the major step that was very important for me.
Yeah. It starts
Because
with,
I'd had a lot of wrong and faulty mindset and programming, right? So that I really, yes, so it has really kept me in a rut and made me feel unworthy, right? And also it really affected my relationships a whole lot. So I think that my thoughts, were the first step that I took over from. And once I was able to have my thoughts change, I began to, transform my mindset through the words that I speak, because I think that it all begins from the thought process, right? And then it comes to the mouth. And so I begin to tell myself, I will no longer do this again. I will no longer think about this again. If this is what I've been thinking and has been causing a lot of depression and setback for me, I think it's high time I stop doing all this. So there was a lot of questions, and I think that in life, if you don't ask questions, you can get answers. So I had a lot of questions, and how the universe works. You send the questions to it, and it gives you a response. And so that was how I was able to get the transformation that I needed, in life till this very moment.
I want to point something out, and I love what you said. I want to point something out, a very simple process around the mindset shift. And, when you say it starts with your thoughts, absolutely. That's exactly the steps that I've let you through. And that's the hardest part for people, because when you're so in it, it's hard for you to see that there's any other possibility, that there's any other way for you to think, do, see, hear, feel. Because you're so in it. It's so encompassing in all of your being. So a very powerful and very simple exercise that I do with my clients is I have them take just a white piece of paper, as I have here, and I have them fold it in half. And on one side, I have them write out what works, and on the other side, I have them write out what doesn't work. And when they become aware of, here are all the things that work, and here are all the things that don't work, and I ask them, so all of the things that are not working, what can you do more of what's working, so that list of what's not working gets smaller. It's so powerful. And again, it starts before the thought is that awareness of, I no longer want to do things that are not working for me. I no longer want to be in that relationship. I no longer want to be working with XYZ. So that's the first step. But you're not going to get stuck there, because if you get stuck at, here are the things that I don't want to do, then all you do is focus on what you don't want to do, which doesn't get you into action. That's why, we have this two-part exercise to then shift and start focusing on what is it that I want to do and how do I do more of that, right? You said great questions, quality questions is a big, big part of that. What do I need to do more of, and how do I do it? And perhaps who can help me with it? Or when can I start? Now would be a good time. So not focusing on or being aware of what didn't work in the past, but not sticking or staying in the past of, oh, all of these things have not worked in the past. But then literally, and you see my body language totally shift and looking into, from here on forward, this is the language pattern. From here on forward, these are the things that I'm focusing on. These are the things that I'm doing. And these are the results that I'm getting. And you're future pacing that. That's a strategy in NLP. You're future pacing that, what you focus on, into the future. A lot of people got really good at all of the stuff that's not working in the past and future pacing that, because they're still focusing on it, into the future, and wonder, why are they not getting the results that they truly desire? Because the focus is still on the non-supportive, on the things that are not working, on the things that are holding them back.
Right. Brigitta, what is the future looking like for NLP in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. We just opened our physical center. So the Center of NLP was established in 1986. We're one of the founding members of the Society of NLP. We fall in direct lineage to Richard Bandler, who's the co-founder of NLP with John Grinder. So my mentor that I learned from Richard Bandler. I'm third degree Grandmaster of Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And we just had our grand opening of our 5,000 square foot training center, where we will have all of our courses coming up in the very near future. Up until now, we've always had our courses in other rooms, hotels, and such, and now we have our own training center, which I'm very, very proud and grateful for.
Awesome. Good to know.
Yes, and we do hybrid courses. So we have our courses in person live in Atlanta, Georgia, and we have people from all around the world tuning in live online. And we have a whole studio set up where it's like they are in the room with us, but they're coming from Algiers, they're coming from France, they're coming from the UK, they're coming from Japan, they're coming from all around the world, and it's a beautiful setup. So what's in store for the Center of NLP for the next 10 years? We've had quarterly courses. We will now have weekly courses because we have the space. We can do a lot more. And we have an incredible faculty, and our faculty is continuing to grow. We are the go-to address for neuro-linguistic programming. And Omobola, I really want to speak to one thing that a lot of people that know NLP. If you don't know anything about NLP, it's the meta program of our communication. It is the foundation of our communication. And if you don't know the foundation of your communication, then you're not intentionally communicating. When you know the foundation, you can actually intentionally communicate to get the results that you desire. Now, there are people out there that are NLP gurus, I'm going to put them in air quotation marks, that are in it for the wrong reasons. I am not associated with them. Our center is not associated with them. When people come to us, they're vetted in person. And I personally ask them, for what reason are you learning the meta program of your communication? And if I get just a little idea that they're going to use it to manipulate others, I will not teach them, because it is a powerful, powerful tool. It is a very powerful tool, just like a hammer. A hammer is a powerful tool. It can build houses. It can build schools. It can build a shelter for people to find shelter in. It can also destroy, depending on which hand it goes into. So I personally vet anyone that is taking our courses. And I'm excited and proud to say that there's a whole new wave of neuro-linguistic programming practitioners and masters coming through our courses.
Right. Awesome. Thank you once again, Brigitta Hoeferle, for an incredible time on today's show. I really had a blast. Right, do you have any projects in the pipeline? I think you've shared one with me. Any other you'd like to share with my audience?
So we have our next practitioner course is coming up end of July. We have a cultural course coming up in August. In between that, I have coaching projects with all of my coaching clients, and I get to be with my children. And I get to be with my family. Now that's the funnest and biggest project.
That's right. That's right. There you go. Wish you best of luck in all those projects, and Brigitta. The parting word you like to share with my audience. I'm looking forward to that too.
The what?
Parting word.
I'm sorry.
A parting word for my audience.
Oh, a word. I'm going to go with the word mindset shift.
Great. All right. So like to have your social media handles on your website.
All you got to do is find us, the Center of NLP, the Center of NLP.com on all social media, or simply look for my name, Brigitta Hoeferle. Very simple, if you know how to spell it. But the spelling is right here. So Brigitta Hoeferle. Find me on all of the social media handles, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Omobola, I have a little gift that I want to send you. So I will stay in contact with you as well.
Right. Thank you once again, Brigitta. Thank you, audience, for joining me on the show. Really been a blast having her on the show. Now, if you'd like to catch up any missed episodes of the show, you can go online and search for Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen on any podcast distribution platforms you bump into, and you have an incredible time. Perhaps you'd like to be a guest on the show, offering disruptive mindshift content to my audience. You can mail me at omobolastephen.o@outlook.com. Now, I'll be looking forward to your mail till I come your way and need you to be good. All my love. Bye for now.